Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the life of a truly remarkable figure, A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, the Missile Man of India.
A fitting title, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And we've got his autobiography, Wings of Fire, to guide us.
It's an incredible journey, from humble beginnings to leading India's space and missile programs.
I'm really excited to uncover how his early life shaped his extraordinary path. Let's start with his childhood on Ramaswaram Island.
Ramaswaram, a small town steeped in spirituality.
The unique blend of religions, too. It's where Kalam spent his childhood, even selling tamarind seeds during World War II.
Imagine that, a young boy contributing during such a turbulent time,
It speaks volumes about his resourcefulness.
and his early exposure to the realities of a world in conflict.
Speaking of resourcefulness, there's that story of him and his cousin, Sam Sudden, scrambling to catch newspaper bundles.
Thrown from moving trains because the war disrupted deliveries.
Talk about dedication to getting your news.
It highlights a determination that seems to run through Kalam's life.
His cousin, Sam Sudden, who ran the newspaper agency, must have been a big influence.
Definitely, instilling a strong work ethic in young Kalam.
And then there's his father's close friendship with the high priest of the Ramaswaram temple.
A beautiful example of interfaith harmony.
It paints a picture of a community where differences were celebrated, not just tolerated.
This environment likely shaped Kalam's collaborative leadership style, something that becomes very apparent later on.
It's amazing how these early influences can have such a lasting impact. And speaking of influences, let's talk about his close friend Jalaluddin.
Jalaluddin introduced Kalam to the teachings of Islamic mystics, sparking his lifelong interest in spirituality.
That blend of scientific curiosity and spiritual exploration is fascinating.
It's a defining aspect of Kalam's personality.
Like these early interactions planted the seeds for his unique approach to life, blending the rational with the spiritual.
You see that throughout his journey.
One of the most powerful anecdotes from his childhood involves his science teacher, Sivasubramania Iyer.
Oh yes. Iyer went against societal norms to invite Kalam to dine at his home.
A Muslim boy invited into a Brahmin household. A powerful statement.
A testament to Iyer's character and belief in breaking down barriers.
It shows how one person can challenge the status quo and inspire a young mind. Clearly, Kalam's time in Ramaswaram was crucial.
It laid the foundation for his values and worldview.
But he eventually moved to Ramanathapuram for schooling, a change that wasn't easy for him.
He struggled with homesickness initially.
It's a reminder that even remarkable individuals experience those universal pangs of longing.
But it was at Schwartz High School where he met another pivotal mentor, Yadarai Solomon.
Solomon instilled in Kalam the belief that he could achieve anything he set his mind to.
Not just about talent, but also about desire, belief, and expectation.
Powerful lessons that stayed with him. A real turning point, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Solomon empowered Kalam to dream big and believe in his ability to achieve those dreams.
It's a message that resonates with anyone striving to reach their full potential. Now, we all know Kalam excelled in math and science.
He had a natural aptitude for it.
But he wasn't always a model student.
Oh, is that right?
There's a funny story about him being caned by his math teacher, Ramakrishna Iyer, for being in the wrong classroom.
A bit of irony there, perhaps.
The same teacher who disciplined him recognized Kalam's mathematical brilliance and even predicted his future success.
It goes to show that sometimes even those who challenge us play a role in our growth.
Absolutely. From Schwartz, Kalam went to St. Joseph's College, where he fell in love with physics.
A natural progression for a curious mind like his.
But he soon realized that to pursue his true passion, flight, he needed to shift gears toward engineering.
A pivotal realization.
That led him to the Madras Institute of Technology, another crucial step on his path.
It was there he met three influential professors, Professor Sponder, Professor Pandalai, and Professor Narasingha Rao.
Each one brought something unique to the table.
Professor Sponder, a survivor of a Nazi concentration camp, instilled in Kalam a deep appreciation for freedom.
And the importance of choosing a path aligned with one's values.
Exactly. Professor Pandalai inspired a love for structural engineering.
And Professor Rao, a passion for theoretical aerodynamics.
They weren't just teaching, they were shaping Kalam's worldview.
Kalam was absorbing knowledge like a sponge, soaking up all these different perspectives.
He was a lifelong learner, always seeking new knowledge and insights.
And it wasn't just theoretical knowledge.
No, he sought out practical experience too.
He went to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL.
To get his hands dirty, so to speak.
He got a taste of the real-world challenges of overhauling aircraft engines.
Grounding his theoretical understanding in the practicalities of engineering.
That combination of theoretical depth and practical application defined his approach to problem solving.
It's a valuable skill in any field.
So we have Kalam, fresh out of MIT, with this incredible foundation. And that childhood dream of flying was still very much alive.
He applied to both the Air Force and the Directorate of Technical Development and Production.
DTD&P, a mouthful.
He narrowly missed being selected for the Air Force, just one spot short.
Can you imagine the disappointment?
It must have been a blow.
But fate had other plans.
He received an appointment letter from DTDNP.
A path that would eventually lead him to the heart of India's space program.
A twist of fate that changed the course of history, perhaps?
And then the legendary Dr. Vikram Sarabhai enters the picture.
The visionary leader of India's space program.
Their first encounter was anything but ordinary.
A meeting at 3:30 a.m. Talk about unconventional.
That was Sarabhai's style, always pushing boundaries.
He wasn't interested in Kalam's existing knowledge, but rather his aspirations, his potential.
He saw something special in Kalam, that spark of brilliance.
And that meeting marked the beginning of Kalam's journey into India's space research.
Starting at IncoSpar, the precursor to ISRO, with a familiarization course at the Tiffer Computer Center.
A crucial stepping stone in his path.
And then an incredible opportunity. He was sent to NASA's Wallops Flight Facility.
Imagine that. A young scientist from India training at the heart of America's space program.
It must have been an eye-opening experience.
He witnessed firsthand the advanced infrastructure, the collaborative spirit, the scale of NASA's operations.
This experience deeply influenced his vision for India's own space program.
It ignited a desire to build something truly remarkable back home.
Upon his return to India, he faced a different reality.
His first major project was developing an indigenous hovercraft prototype, codenamed Nandi.
It faced skepticism from some senior scientists who viewed it as unrealistic.
But Kalam, always the optimist, pressed on.
A testament to his unwavering belief in his team's capabilities.
He was never one to back down from a challenge.
Unfortunately, the project was eventually shelved due to shifting priorities.
A setback, but not a defeat.
It provided valuable lessons about navigating bureaucratic hurdles.
And championing unconventional ideas.
Even brilliant minds face setbacks.
It's about perseverance, learning from failures and using them as fuel for future success.
And his next challenge would prove to be even more daunting, leading the development of India's first satellite launch vehicle, the SLV-3.
Now that sounds like a monumental task.
Before we dive into that, let's step back and understand the context of India's early space program.
Professor Sarabhai had laid out a bold vision, a multi-dimensional approach.
Developing indigenous rockets, launch vehicles, and satellites concurrently.
It was a massive undertaking.
And Kalam was right at the center of it all.
Playing a key role in the Rohini-sounding rocket program.
These sounding rockets laid the groundwork for the more complex launch vehicles and missiles that would follow.
It was a crucial step in India's journey toward space exploration.
Remember that 3.30 meeting with Sarabhai?
Unforgettable, wasn't it?
It led to another crucial project for Kalam, developing an indigenous radar system.
RADO, or rocket-assisted takeoff, was needed by the Indian Air Force.
To help their high-performance aircraft take off under challenging conditions.
Sarabhai challenged Kalam and a young Air Force Group Captain, V.S. Narayanan, to develop the system within 18 months.
An incredibly tight deadline.
But they delivered.
Kalam's team at the Space Science and Technology Center successfully developed the RADO system,
demonstrating India's growing capability in rocket propulsion.
And more importantly, this project exposed Kalam to the concept of concurrency,
where design, production, and testing happened simultaneously.
A strategy that would become central to his approach in later projects like the IGMDP.
A testament to his ability to learn and adapt.
By the early 1970s, Kalam had established himself as a rising star in India's space program.
He had led the development of both sounding rockets and the RADO system.
But his greatest challenge, the SLV-3 project, was just on the horizon.
A challenge that would test his leadership and push him to the limits of his abilities.
And that's a story for another time.
We'll delve into the complexities of the SLV-3 project in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned, folks.
The SLV-3 project, it was a monumental task for India,
A rocket capable of launching a satellite into orbit.
A challenge full of complexities, to say the least.
I can only imagine the pressure. And on top of that, he faced resource constraints from the get-go. He requested 275 engineers and scientists, but his team ended up being around 50.
Wow, that's a significant difference. How did they manage?
They embraced a synergistic approach, combining their expertise, working incredibly efficiently.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Exactly. But let's talk about the technical side. We're talking early 1970s. India was starting from scratch in many areas of rocket technology.
True, they had to develop everything indigenously. High-energy propellants, composite motor casings, control and guidance systems.
A whole
It
shebang.
was a massive undertaking.
What were some of the key achievements that stood out to you during this period?
Their work on composite motor casings was groundbreaking. Weight is the enemy when you're building a rocket to reach space.
Right.
Traditional steel casings were just too heavy. Kalam's team turned to composite materials, high-tech plastics reinforced with fibers.
So like a super strong, lightweight shell?
Precisely. It wasn't just about reducing weight, it was a strategic decision to master composite materials.
A technology with far-reaching applications.
Absolutely, in aerospace and beyond. They were thinking ahead, laying the foundation for future advancements.
But I'm sure this project wasn't without its share of setbacks.
Of course not. There were challenges along the way.
Like what?
One significant setback involved the fourth stage of the SLV-3.
What happened?
It was initially designed to be compatible with the French Diamond BC rocket, a collaboration with France's space agency, CNES.
They were working with the French. That's interesting.
But then, in a sudden turn of events, the French canceled their Diamond BC program.
Oh, wow. Leaving Kalam and his team with a fourth stage, but no rocket to use it with.
It was a major blow, a huge disappointment.
All that effort, and suddenly it's obsolete. How did they handle that?
Kalam saw it as an opportunity. The experience gained in developing that stage wasn't wasted. It directly contributed to the development of the complete SLV-3.
He really had a way of turning setbacks into learning experiences.
A valuable lesson for anyone, in any field.
Absolutely. But the SLV-3 project wasn't just about overcoming technical hurdles. It was a masterclass in leadership and teamwork.
Kalam only had a fraction of the team he initially requested, remember?
Right, only about 50 people. How did he manage to lead such a small team through such a complex project?
He instilled three key principles in his team: the importance of design capability, setting and achieving goals, and having the resilience to withstand setbacks.
These weren't just empty words, they were guiding principles that shaped how the team operated.
He understood that building a successful team required more than just technical skills.
It's about fostering a culture of shared goals, resilience, and continuous learning.
Precisely. He also emphasized open communication, a shared vision, and recognition of each individual's contribution.
There's that story about the Rohini rocket nose cone jettisoning failure. Instead of assigning blame, Professor Sarbai turned it into a learning opportunity.
A perfect example of the leadership culture within India's space program at the time,
It was about fostering a growth mindset,
where mistakes were seen as opportunities for learning and improvement.
a valuable lesson for any team or organization.
Absolutely. But let's get back to the SLV-3. The first launch attempt, in August 1979, didn't go as planned.
Oh, no.
The rocket unfortunately plunged into the Bay of Bengal, a devastating setback.
The pressure must have been immense, especially with the world watching. How did Kalam handle this failure?
He didn't let it break him. He rallied his team, analyzed the reasons for the failure, and went back to work with even greater determination.
And their resilience paid off. Less than a year later, the second SLV-3 launch was a success.
July 18, 1980, a historic day for India.
They successfully placed their own satellite, Rohini, into orbit, solidifying India's place among spacefaring nations.
It was a testament to Kalam's vision, his leadership, and his team's unwavering dedication.
The SLV-3 paved the way for more advanced launch vehicles.
But Kalam's journey wasn't over yet. He was about to take on a new, even more challenging mission.
Leading the development of India's missile program.
A whole new chapter in his story filled with high stakes and complex challenges.
Leading the development of India's missile program. What a transition from space to defense.
Quite a shift, and it wasn't all smooth sailing at first.
Right. DRDL, the Defense Research and Development Laboratory in Hyderabad, was facing uncertainty, low morale.
An earlier missile project, codenamed Devil, had been shut down abruptly.
Must have been disheartening for the scientists involved.
It was a definite setback, but Kalam, ever the optimist, saw the potential within DRDL.
He had a way of breathing new life into teams, inspiring people.
One of his initial moves was to break down barriers between DRDL and other scientific institutions.
He started inviting experts from all over. the IITs, CSIR, even TIFR,
A collaborative approach, bringing in fresh perspectives, renewed energy.
setting the stage for what would become a cornerstone of India's defense capabilities, the IGMDP.
The Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. A bold vision, to say the least.
5 distinct missile systems: Prithvi, Agni, Trishul, Akash, and Nag. Incredibly ambitious.
It was, and Kalam's leadership was central to its success.
We've talked about his collaborative spirit, his optimism, his resilience. How did those traits play out in the IGMDP?
He was a master at assembling the right teams, hand-picking project directors for each missile system.
Not just technical expertise, but leadership qualities, the ability to manage complex projects.
Exactly, and he cultivated a culture of open discussion, problem-solving.
He established a science council where everyone could voice their opinions, debate challenges.
Fostering ownership, collective responsibility for the IGMDP's success.
But such a massive project, how did he ensure everyone was on the same page?
Kalam was a strong advocate for clear communication.
Making sure everyone understood the vision, the goals.
He had this remarkable ability to explain complex concepts in a simple, engaging way.
Using analogies, real-world examples, bridging the gap between scientists, engineers, and policymakers.
He knew how to connect with people, regardless of their background.
Yeah. A true mark of a great leader. Let's talk about some of the specific missiles developed under the IGMDP Prithvi. India's first indigenously developed surface-to-surface tactical ballistic missile, a major achievement.
A demonstration of India's growing capabilities in rocket propulsion and guidance systems.
And then there's Agni, India's first intermediate-range ballistic missile, a project incredibly close to Kalam's heart.
Agni was a technological triumph, mastering re-entry technology, a real challenge.
Ensuring the missile's payload could survive the intense heat and pressure of returning to Earth's atmosphere.
Pushing the boundaries of science and engineering.
A defining moment for India's defense capabilities.
Demonstrating its ability to deter potential adversaries, safeguard national security.
But the IGMDP was about more than just missiles, wasn't it?
It was about creating a self-reliant technological ecosystem for India's future.
Developing indigenous capabilities in critical areas.
Material science, propulsion systems, guidance and control, even the manufacturing infrastructure.
Kalam was thinking long-term, investing in India's scientific and technological future.
He established a network of labs, research institutions, private industries, all working together.
Leading to the creation of RCI, the Research Center Emirat, a state-of-the-art facility for missile development.
A hub for cutting-edge research with applications beyond defense.
Kalam firmly believed in the power of science and technology to improve people's lives.
He saw the advancements from IGMDP as having potential in agriculture, medicine, communication.
It's inspiring, that belief in the power of science to make a real difference.
He wasn't just building missiles. He was building a better future for India.
Wings of Fire offers a glimpse into his philosophy, that divine fire within everyone waiting to be unleashed.
Science is a path to spiritual enrichment, self-realization.
He embodied that idea, always pushing himself and others to achieve great things.
Placing immense value on perseverance, mentorship, teamwork.
Surrounding yourself with brilliant minds, empowering them, leading by example.
His work ethic, his humility, his belief in India's potential, truly inspiring.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the life of A.P.J. Abdul Kalam.
From humble beginnings to leading India's space and missile programs, a testament to the power of education, mentorship, a relentless pursuit of excellence.
His story resonates deeply, especially in our complex world. Dream big, work hard, never give up, believe in your ability to make a difference.
A powerful message for us all.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the extraordinary life of A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep that divine fire burning bright.